Hello everyone, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. We're going to do a quick episode today because, well, everyone here is fighting the flu, and it has not been fun. But what I did want to quickly talk about was Saquon Barkley. I see a lot of chatter and videos that we should consider signing Saquon to a long-term extension after his third season. And I'm going to warn everyone now that if you're easily offended or you have a problem with honesty and the truth, like some fans do have, then you probably want to change the channel now or just hit the stop button. Because I'm going to speak the truth, and you know what? A lot of times the truth is not popular. Saquon Barkley. At this point in time, I see no consideration signing him to an extension. And I see no consideration right now signing him to an extension after the 2020 season either. Why, you might ask? Well, first of all, he's in his second year. He played full 16 games his first season, and, well, he only played 13 games last year. He's not prone to injuries, but you know what? Injuries do happen. I would like to see him stay healthy for at least another 2 seasons before we commit a large chunk of our future cap space on on a running back. Now, one of the other reasons that I'm saying this is because of the fact that we are not a good team at the moment. His 2 seasons were 4-12, 5-11. Are we going to be a good team in the near future? I would say in the next season or 2, no. And honestly, I don't think anyone can project outside of that because we don't know what Joe Judge is going to do. We don't know what Dave Gettleman is going to do. But at this point in time, I can't project us having more than 4 to 6 wins next year, and depending how Daniel Jones really progresses, I don't know if we're going to have any more than that next year, depending on free agency and the draft. So at this point in time, committing X amount of money to a 23-year-old running back after is ludicrous because of the fact that we have no idea what we are going to need in cap space going into those additional years down the road. And also the factor is that Daniel Jones is 1 year behind Saquon Barkley in contract-wise. What happens if Daniel Jones is the real deal like we hope he is, and he wants Dak Prescott money? He wants $40 million a year or whatever the market's going to dictate, because a lot of times, and that's the other thing I get a little upset about, it's not about what quarterbacks are making, it's what the market is dictating at that point in time. Because a lot of people complain about, well, Eli Manning made all this money. Eli Manning made all the money because the marketplace dictated that for a starting quarterback. Not because we thought Eli Manning was worth it, is because that's what starting quarterbacks, NFL caliber starting quarterbacks, are being paid. So my question is, we have no idea what that salary is going to look like down the road. And also the fact that people will go, well, you need to consider the Ezekiel Elliott signing his extension after year 3. All right, well, first of all, Ezekiel Elliott has also been in the league for 4 years now, has run for 5,400 yards, has stayed on the field outside of the 2017 season where he only played 10 games. I mean, he's been more consistent than Barkley. So you know what? If Barkley has a huge year next year and he stays on the field, yeah, I might consider signing him, but not at this point in time as well. Also, we need to take a look at is the 2020 collective bargaining agreement. We have no idea what the collective bargaining agreement is going to look like. Neither does Saquon. We don't know what the cap's going to look like. And from Saquon's perspective, why would you even consider even looking into a contract or even looking into extension or even consider an extension until after what we see is going to happen with the collective bargaining agreement and the salary cap? I mean, it just makes sense. Also, a considering factor should be right now, if you look at the top running backs, what they're being paid. I mean, Elliott's getting 15, Gurley's getting 14, Le'Veon Bell's getting 13, David Johnson's getting 13, Devontae Freeman is getting 8, And the next person on that list is Saquon Barkley at $7.798 million a year. So he is already being paid in the top 6 or in the top 10 of running backs. And his contract is only going to escalate. I mean, you take a look at his rookie deal. To this year alone, in 2020, he's going to make $8.5 million. Next year, he's going to be making $9.9 million. Okay. People need to remember that Saquon was drafted higher than Ezekiel Elliott. Now, and yes, I know Ezekiel Elliott went 4 and Saquon went 2, but those two different spaces is a difference. There is a difference in salary between those spaces. So right now, Saquon is being paid in the top 6 of running backs. And then I also laugh because people compare him to Ezekiel Elliott again. Okay, Ezekiel Elliott right now, if you take a look at him, he's 24 years old. Saquon Barkley is already 23. Zeke's been in the league now for 4 years. Barkley's been in the league for 2. So, yeah, there's a couple of years difference. And we have to remember the shelf life of a running back is anywhere between 5 to 7 years. So we need to look down the road what we're going to put on him wear and tear-wise. Is he going to be a Sean Alexander who's just going to burn himself out after 3-4 good seasons, and that's going to be the end of that? Or is he going to be like an Earl Campbell? After 5-6 good seasons, he's going to burn himself out. So we have to consider that as well, because we have to really take a look at the fact that we need to figure out when we're going to be good. If we're not going to be good for the next 5 years, having an all-world running back who may or may not be able to stay healthy, it's not going to help us any. Eating that cap space is not going to help the team any. It's not going to help the team rebuild. And also, let's take a look at this from Saquon's perspective. Does he even know, sort of like what I'm saying, are the Giants going to be any good? And towards the end of his contract, does he want to sit there and take the beating on a bad team? Or is he going to try to push his way out? Or is he going to Odell his way out? I mean, and of course he's not going to be an Odell personality-wise, but, there are ways to push yourself out from an organization. He needs to look at it from a perspective is, okay, is this in the best? I'm being paid right now in the top 6. Yes, I could probably get another 4 or 5 million potentially, but is it going to be the best interest of my career to stay in New York if they're not going to win? Barkley's a winner. Barkley was a winner since high school and college. He's come here and he's won 9 games in 2 seasons. I mean, he's going to have that perspective as well. And then the other thing I always like to take a look at is injuries. I'm not saying he's injury prone because he did have the same injury at Penn State that he had this year. And I'm not saying he's injury prone at all, but I am saying from a Giant perspective, you need to make sure that he is healthy. You need to make sure that he can carry the mail. Or is he going to turn into a Gale Sayers or a Billy Sims? We don't know. I mean, we have no idea whatsoever. And right now, and people always go back into, well, the Dallas Cowboys, and they did it, and look how it's turned out for them. Okay, again, you're comparing apples to hand grenades. Dallas Cowboys have had a winning record since Ezekiel Elliott has come into the league. I believe his first season in the league, they were 13-3. The worst season they had was finishing 8-8 last year. So you're comparing something that we need. The Dallas, outside of coaching, and like I said, I worry about Garrett. Outside of coaching, the Cowboys were and are a playoff-ready team for the last 4 seasons. The Giants, we're not. We have so many holes and so many needs and so many wants. It's different because we need to fill those gaps. Yes, we can fill those gaps through the draft, but we're also going to need to fill it through free agency. We're going to need to hopefully find some young talent to bring in that we can have for the next 4 or 5 years that can gel into a cohesive unit, both on the offense and on the defense. I'm not saying don't look at an extension for Barkley, but you also need to remember he's on a contract. He's on his rookie contract. Most teams try to win with their star players on their rookie contracts because they know 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, they're going to have to turn around and pay the guy. So right now, he is going into year 3 of a 5-year contract. We pick up the 5th-year option, and honestly, we could tag him twice before it becomes an issue. So you could literally have control over Saquon for the next 5 years without having. He'll still be paid as a top running back in the league, but we are not going to sit there and blow through our future cap space until exactly we know what's going on. We know exactly how he is going to progress in year 3. I hope that he's a phenomenal running back, and it cracks me up and it kills me that all these people now that are saying, yeah, give him the extension, give him the extension. Where were these guys when he was running for 17 carries, 59 yards, 13 carries? I remember the 13 carries, 1 yard game against the Jets. He was a bum. We needed to get rid of him. I remember the 14 carries, 28 yards against the Cowboys. He was a bum. We need to get rid of him. What a waste of a pick. Now, all of a sudden, people are turning around and saying, wow, he's an all-world talent. We need to sign him because he had 2 good games in a row. I mean, you can count the Philly game as a good game as well, but he did only rush for 92 yards. But he had he had the good game against Miami and a good game against Washington. I mean, how do you turn on a dime like that? I sat there and said, it's all the way back in our podcast, when Barkley got hurt, you could see that he was hurt and he was nursing the ankle. We were at the Arizona game. He had 18 carries, 72 yards, but you could still see he wasn't right. And he wasn't right going through till about the Green Bay game. Once he hit into the Green Bay game, you could see that he was starting to pick up a little bit more speed. He was trusting his ankle a little bit more, but you could tell that he was not right. So you're technically looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. He missed 3 and had 5 so-so games. So that's really 8 games he had an issue. And that's the thing. If you're hurt, and yeah, I know you want to come back, but as an organization, we were a bad team. We knew we were going to be a bad team. What was the hurry to bring him back against Arizona? And considering the fact that it was a crappy game in Arizona, the weather was horrid that day. It rained nonstop and constantly. He should never have been on that field. But you know what? I just love it because fans are like, wow, Jet game. We look at November 10th. What a bum. We have to get rid of him. We look at November 4th against Dallas. What a bum. We need to get rid of him. Now you people want to give him $90 extra million or whatever you want to give him. You need to remember he's one player and we need to look at the entire organization. You can easily find a running back in the later rounds. Later in the first round, later in the second round, later in the third round. The team is littered with them. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. Evidently, we are cutting it short today. I don't know what's going on there. We're going to take that out. I don't know what happened. But as I was saying, you could find a running back into the later rounds. But the problem is, you got to figure out, A, is he worth the money to pay? B, what the CBA is going to look like? C, what the salary cap's going to look like? D, what's the average income of a running back down the road? What we're going to need in cap space for Daniel Jones and whoever else that we have. It's not as easy as, well, after year 3, we just need to sign him to an extension. You want to talk to me after year 4? Yeah, I would be more than happy to look at signing an extension for Barkley. But the problem is we don't know exactly what's going to happen with the team. We hope the team is going to go well. Like I said, but if we win 6 games next year, I'm going to be surprised. Unless we have a blowout free agency class and a blowout draft class, I see us maybe being more competitive over the next 2 years, but I'm not seeing a playoff team. And I got blasted the last 2 years, literally the last 3 years, when I said that we were not going to be good. We actually called the 5-12 season and the 5-11 season and 4-12 season. We got every game right last year except for the first Eagle game because for some reason I thought we were going to turn it around. But we called every other game correct. So I think everyone just needs to slow down. Let's not worry about it now. Let's worry about it maybe after his 4th year. See it where he is physically. See what talent level we have around him. And then make the assessment. Let's not jump into the end of year 3 throwing money around for a contract that, like I said, we technically, even after his 3rd season, we could have control of his salary for the next 4 years. So we got to look at it that way. So I think we just need to slow down, take a breath, worry about fixing all the other holes that we have, and then kind of go from there. Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Hopefully that wasn't too mean and upsetting. I love it. I'm either called a homer or I have nothing nice to say. It's whatever, whatever day the prevailing winds are blowing out of. But you know what? I don't think this is anything bad to talk about or to say. I think this is just being honest and the truth, and I appreciate everyone listening. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Thanks for listening.